Guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are super pumped to bring to you the ZR2. That's right guys, we finally got all of our truck parts in. I know with everything going on with the pandemic, truck parts have been back ordered for weeks and weeks and weeks, if not months. Well, good news is guys, we got them in, we got everything installed, and today we're out in the desert here to test some parts out. Well guys, the Chevy just went into limp mode. As you guys can see from our last video from Apex, it's doing the exact same thing that happened out at Apex. Cutting power, says service ESC, and then it's like I said, it sounds like a four-wheeler when it's idling. So I'm at engine power reduced, so I'm gonna shut it off. Well guys, that wraps our adventures today. Unfortunately, our adventures were cut short. If you guys do remember in our Apex video when the truck went into limp mode when Monty and I were in the sand, well, unfortunately, that same thing happened today. We were out doing our flex test and we gave it a little bit of power, threw it right into limp mode. And what's really interesting is it says service ESC. It really won't go above second gear and it won't go above 20 miles an hour. So I'm interested, if anybody in the comments, if you guys have a Colorado or a ZR2, I'd love to hear if you guys have dealt with anything like this, because it seems like when the truck is cold, no issues, but as soon as the car starts to warm up, it starts to become a real problem, and like you barely give it any gas and it immediately trips it. So really, really interesting guys, but at the end of the day, the flex was really good. The flex test, we still have a very minor rubbing, but overall, very, very little. We're only gonna have to take a little bit more off the plastic on the bottom. So for the 33 fitment, I'm really, really happy guys. When we move up to the 35, we will have to do a little bit more trimming, make a couple more adjustments, but overall, this is taking on those 33s pretty much perfectly. So, but overall guys, the flex was good. Like I said, touched a little bit in the front. There was absolutely no touch in the back. And another thing I should say too guys, is our brake lines, our stock brake line length, we haven't adjusted it. So that is something to keep in mind. If you guys are lifting your truck higher and higher, you do get more articulation, there is a possibility of you snapping your brake line. So make sure you guys are really, really careful with that. But overall, little tiny rub in the front, no rub in the back, and it was a great experience. But like I said guys, it did go into limp mode, so I am taking it in the shop tomorrow, see what's going on, and I'll keep you guys posted.
Welcome. Login authorized. Accessing files. Access granted. Uploading. Launch sequence activated. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's good just getting the cobwebs,
yeah.
Yeah. After 5 weeks.
We could do.
It's fun. Guys, we are currently about 100 miles north of Las Vegas in Rachel, Nevada. And our mission today is try to get a peek inside of Area 51. Now we're gonna be traveling up to Tikaboo Peak and seeing if we can actually get a shot into the base. Now, the base is completely closed off to the public, so there are some areas that you can peer down into. So what's cool about this is the off-road trails leading up to there is gonna allow us to test all the new components we've recently installed on the ZR2. We have the Kibitech upper control arms. We also have the lift kit from Peak Suspension that has the IBEC lift springs up front, the 1-inch lift block in the back, and then we also have the 33-inch tires from Falcon. Also, once we've gone to these trails, guys, on our websites in the future, we're gonna have all the maps, all the road guidance that you need to get to these different areas. So when you guys want to go to these places in the future, you can go to our website and check all that stuff out. If there's anything that you guys want to see in the future, other places you want us to travel to, other places you want us to do some reconnaissance, leave a comment, let us know what you'd like to see. We'd love to hear your feedback. guys, we just made it to the peak of Tikaboo. We're about 8,000 feet up, and behind me is the Nevada test range. And what's really cool, and you guys will see it in the video, you can actually see a crater just off to my right here that's probably from one of the old nuclear explosions. And then over to my left is Area 51, the infamous crazy place that you hear about online and all that good stuff. It's, you know, it's not as awesome as you think it would be when you get up here, because everything is so far away. But it is really cool. You know, this is a place that I've always wanted to come up to. It's a place I've read about. And when you do the research online, look at all the places that got hit by nuclear tests and all the explosions and the craters. It's a huge part of American history. And so being here in the flesh is really, really cool. I will say, guys, the trail up here, it is not for the faint of heart. So if you have, you know, a four-wheeler, a small truck, if you have a large-scale truck, it will not make it up those trails. You'll have to walk a lot more than we did. But for the most part, you know, they mark everything with markers. They have cairns, but you are going to put in some miles. You are going to go up a couple thousand feet in vertical elevation to get to this point. But if you are a big fan and like this kind of stuff, this is a great place to be. Like I said, this view is absolutely amazing. And just over to the left as well is the extraterrestrial highway that we were on earlier. So like I said, this little area up here gives you an amazing viewpoint from the top. So, but being up here, guys, is just, it's absolutely incredible. Guys, so the history of the nuclear test site is really cool. You know, 60, 70 years ago, when this was an active place and they were doing all these tests, you could actually see the nuclear explosions from downtown Las Vegas. You could see the plumes coming up. You could be hanging out on Fremont and actually see the tests happening. The only problem was when they were doing these tests, the nuclear fallout was all traveling to southern Utah, going to places like St. George and contaminating the soil, contaminating the water. And so after close to 100 above ground tests and almost 1,000 underground tests, in 1992, they decided to put a hold on the program here in Nevada because of all the fallout that was happening. And so with that, you guys can see we're left with this big barren wasteland. And if you guys actually go on to Google Maps, you can see the area where they did all the testing. It literally looks like they took a strip of the moon and put it into Google Maps. It's really, really fascinating. If you guys have time, go check it out. You will not be disappointed. Standing here on Tikaboo Peak, you can actually see just to my left, Area 51, just off to my right, a massive crater. And along this road below us, there's a couple little outposts or little buildings that we have no idea what they are. There's some warehouses, there's like a circular structure here. If you guys have any idea what these buildings or what these areas might be, please leave a comment, because we are completely confused. We don't know what they are, but we would love to know more about this area. You know, over to my left, like I said, there's a small little round building. And then over to my right, there is a massive crater. So if anybody knows this crater name or has a specific name, please let us know in the comments. And then just over to the left of the crater, there's another building and, you know, big warehouse looking structure. So if you guys know what this looks like, if you guys have been up here, please leave a comment. We would love to know more about the place. Well, guys, that concludes our epic Area 51 adventure. Now, this adventure ended up being a little bit more intense than we anticipated, but it was well worth it. If you guys are gonna do this hike, make sure you guys come prepared, bring food, bring water. From the parking area, you guys have about a 2,000 foot elevation climb to get to the viewing area to look down into the testing site. So like I said, if you guys are gonna do this, make sure you come prepared. Also in the future, guys, on our website, we're gonna be having all the details and the coordinates to find these exclusive areas. So if you guys are interested in finding these places, we'll have them all on our website, which will be in our link, in our bio. The other thing, guys, StuntManStige on our Instagram, make sure you check it out. We have tons of great content on there, and it's just more in-depth look on what we do on this channel. And we just want to say thank you as well, guys. Thank you for everything. Thank you for the support. The feedback has been phenomenal. And if you guys can like, comment, subscribe, keep the channel going, we really appreciate it. Like you said, see you on the next one, guys. Stay stunting.